this show is centered and covers women in business.
Actually have like 10 years in this business.
Yeah.
It's quite a while. I started small. I didn't need capital.
And how do you now manage the budget? Because a huge part of having a business and maintaining a business is being able to handle money very effectively.
You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
That's the word. You have to be disciplined. Anytime you sell, put it aside. If you're paying rent,
Yeah.
make sure you raise your rent before you go spend.
True. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of The Millionaire Mind. My name is Turife. Now, before we get into the show, we would like to hear some feedback from you. So feel free to interact with the show on the number 0770729366. Also on our social media at Ibri TV KE on Facebook and Ibri TV Kenya on Instagram and Twitter. Now, today's show is about hospitality, and the name itself covers a broad spectrum of activities and careers. But to help us dive into that today, we have our guest Roslyn, and she'll be, giving us a few insight on what it is and how the restaurant business works. Hi Roslyn, how are you?
Hi, I'm
Karibu
good.
sana to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we start, very quickly, you could give us a brief introduction on who Roslyn is and what your business is about and what you do in the hospitality industry.
My name's Roslyn Amondi Kasera. Roslyn is a mother of two. Roslyn is the CEO, Fisherman's Lounge.
Wow.
That should tell you the part of restaurants. My specialization is on fish. Yes, and I also do events outside catering. It's a bit wide, like she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a broad spectrum.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I think it's very important to remind our audience that this show is centered and covers women in business. It's all about highlighting the journey of women in business and the highs and the lows and everything that women go through. And it's very important, especially in this day and age, to talk about the achievements and leaps and bounds that women have made in the industry. So now, how did you start and when did you start?
Actually have like 10 years in this business.
Yeah.
It's quite a while. I started small. I didn't need capital to start.
Yeah.
And let me begin by saying this. I didn't actually plan to do this business. I picked it up from a colleague.
Yeah.
And I liked what I was doing.
Yeah.
Of course, I loved the returns, and that's how I managed to focus on that particular business, which is fish business.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember I had like 2,000 shillings, yeah, to start.
Yeah.
And from there, the proceeds I kept plowing back in the business.
Yeah.
And here I am today. I can tell you, I'm not regretting anything.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not that rosy. There's been ups and downs,
Exactly.
but we are managing, and
Yeah.
that is what business is about.
True.
Yes.
Okay. And you
Yes.
said you didn't really plan on getting into the business.
Yes.
So if I'm not really prying into your personal life, was
Not
it
really.
born out of circumstances, or what are the events that led you to start your business?
You see, back there, I wasn't in business world.
Yeah.
I was in corporate, I was employed. Yeah, then I had this colleague of mine who relocated. Then she was actually doing fish as her side business. So when she relocated, it was becoming messy because her clients used to come asking about her, where is she? They used to call her, sending her messages on Facebook. Then she was like, Rosie, why don't you just pick it up from where I left?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I can't do this. I can't do this. But somehow she managed to convince me, you don't need to do it yourself. I wasn't doing it myself, but you can actually just get somebody to assist you, do it from wherever, so you can just be coming with the goods to supply these customers. And that's the exact thing I did. It wasn't that easy, I will tell you, but I was actually encouraged. I used to talk to her a lot. Yeah, and she can't believe it herself that I'm still in it. Even outside the corporate, actually this is where I've managed to settle.
Okay, so you're still in corporate, or did you leave that to just basically focus on the
I
fish
left
business?
that to basically focus on business.
Wow.
And I will not cheat you that it's quite an easy decision to make. I kept meditating for a long time. Do I do this? Because it was actually becoming a challenge. Orders were becoming so many now to satisfy all those customers. And that I really didn't like. Like somebody wanting something and not
getting it.
Yeah, not actually getting it.
Okay.
But, well, something happened. I think I had some small accident. I happened to be at home for like 6 months. Then you see, for those 6 months, I made use of myself. Like, now that I have the time, can I actually focus on this? Which I did. By the end of it, no. I said no. Let me just give this time.
Yeah.
Because I think it could be what I've been looking for.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
Awesome.
Yes.
And we've mentioned that hospitality covers a broad range of different things.
Yes.
So how did you choose what you're going to pick, and what does it entail, basically?
It's so wide, it's so broad. It's about planning events, and basically, you know, events, we have different types of events, a lot of it. So where I come in is basically what I can do. I usually get those guys who want me to plan everything. You know, even if it's a wedding, they want me to plan the food, because, you know, the main thing about wedding is usually food and, of course, other things. So that I need to plan it, everything. I can't do everything.
Yeah.
So where I come in basically is on food area. I focus on just food, and more so, let me put it, traditional food. Being that I do fish, I'm able to do so many traditional food. So maybe others I get to last with the guys who do it. Then we manage to, you know, work as a team.
Okay.
Yes.
And not to be the master of doom, but I read somewhere that most restaurant businesses collapse within the first 1 year of inception. So what are the things that you have done so that you're not one of those statistics?
Good question. And actually, with today's economy, we've seen businesses closing at a very high rate.
True.
Maybe somebody just started, then you hear he closed. You wonder what could be happening. I really don't want to judge what could be happening. But if I'm to talk from my perspective, you really have to be sure of what you want to do. Business, like I told you, it's not rosy. You have to be sure of what you want to do. You have to do it with a lot of passion. You don't want to give up on your passion, right? So you keep trying. There are those low moments, but there are those times that you'll get the returns. So you keep trying. You don't give up easily. Like probably one of the factors that contribute to someone closing is rent. Rent is actually a major factor. Maybe you're paying a lot of rent. Of course, you can't be patient when you're paying a lot of rent. And that's why I told you, I started small. I didn't have a restaurant when I started. I was doing it from my compound. So I could get orders. I get the exact orders. I go and supply. Like I told you, I was plowing back the
business.
The profits. Yes. So I saw the profit growing.
Okay.
So it grew from that point. It reached where I felt like I needed a restaurant because my privacy was being invaded, being that I was focused on just supplying, guys came like, what if we want to eat fish from the source?
Yes.
You know, maybe they don't know how to prepare fish, or maybe they just happened to be passing the smell of fish. You know, you really can't resist. They wanted to eat there. I didn't have seats. You know, those challenges.
You don't have space, yes.
Yes. So that gave me another focus that I actually need a space where some people can actually eat from there. And that person who really don't believe in you know, learning, I go slowly on such things. So it took me like 4 or 5 years to actually
transition,
build exactly my savings and all that, and somehow I managed to secure a place. Yes, where I built my restaurant. Well, I'm still building, but we are running.
Yeah, it's small by small.
Yes, so that's why I may not be in that category of closing because of high cost like rent.
True.
Yeah.
And you know, you've talked about transitioning from just supplying the fish to having your own restaurant.
Yes.
So what are some of the requirements? What are some of the things you need when you're establishing a restaurant? Things like health code, things like sourcing investments, sourcing for investors. Did you reach out to anyone? But you already mentioned that you didn't like the loaning part of the finances.
Yes, because that is me. I felt it's a risk. I may not make it. Then what will happen? I need to pay back the loan.
True.
Yeah, so that's why it took a while. But usually I will not discourage anybody out there to you know, from taking loan. But for some businesses, you really don't need much capital. You just need small capital and grow from there.
So far, from what you've told us about yourself,
yes,
we are deducing that you solely or mostly deal with fish. It's become something you specialized in.
I've specialized in fish. Now the various fish that we have, there are several. Yeah, but at the same time, like I've told you, people identify fish as a traditional food.
True.
So I manage to also do the traditional foods. That leaves things like pastries and all that.
Pastries.
Yeah, but yes, but all traditional foods, the traditional ugalis, name it, we do it.
Okay.
And you don't need to come to where we are. We can actually move our restaurant, like whenever we are needed, wherever, we go all the way. So long as you like our services, you like how we do the traditional foods, we can actually move ourselves to the venue and actually get to do it there. Yes. So
now how do you retain your customers? Because it's one thing to have a customer who comes and becomes a regular, but what do you do to make sure that they won't be out there looking for somebody else?
It's about many factors. One, communication skills. You really have to know your customer. I call it KWC. Know your customer. Know what exactly your customer needs. If it is fish or whatever food that you deal in, how does he want it? Does he want it dry? Does he want it wet? Just know. He doesn't have to come to your place always and tell you how to do it. Not unless he wants a different thing, he will let you know. So know your customer. Know how to talk to this customer. It's not about him bringing the money. You also need to establish some relationship with him. How are you doing? How is your family?
Customer service.
Customer service, yes. You see, you go into details, not really straight somebody walking in and you just want to sell. Yes. So there are usually many things. It's not a perfect area. Somebody would have a complaint. Maybe the portion was small, or maybe, you know, you just have to do something out of your way. Yes. Come on, ugali sosa, go and bring that ugali sosa to the customer.
Exactly.
If it's a complaint about the food, too much salt and all that, take the complaint positively. Like, can we do for you another?
Yes.
Yeah, it may be a loss, yes, but you
Yes.
see, you want to retain this customer.
True.
Yeah, so you go out of your way just to make sure the customer is satisfied. When he smiles out of, when he'll be walking out of that restaurant, I'm sure he'll be a happy one. Like, anytime I happen to be here, this
Exactly.
is the place to be. Yes.
And
Your customer is your king.
true.
Yes.
Customer is king at
Yes,
all times.
yes, 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 yes.
Even
And
if
he's always right.
if they're on the wrong.
He's always right. He's always right.
Awesome.
Yes.
So having a business in the 21st century, you really can't compare to having a business in the 90s, where marketing, maybe you put an ad in the newspaper or a billboard somewhere. In this day and age, you have to have technology and you have to incorporate that into your business.
Yes.
So what are the current marketing strategies that you're using for your business right now?
There are various. I can tell you that. It's about reaching the customers. Yeah. Like, I don't believe in walk-ins. Like, you're just there, you're waiting for a customer to
walk in.
To actually get to know where you are. No, it is my duty to look for that
True.
client. All right? So we have WhatsApp groups, thanks to media. Yeah. So through WhatsApp groups, you're able to reach many. Facebook, I'm able to reach many. Okay, the people you don't know. In fact, most, I can tell you, 3/4 of my customers don't know me.
Yeah.
But we get to talk, we get to, you know, we get to communicate most of the times, because we usually do deliveries as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you give the
Referral.
delivery, through referrals.
Yeah.
Through WhatsApp groups, Facebook, maybe somebody has seen some photo somewhere, where do you do this, you know, such things.
Yes.
And even where we are, we don't wait for the neighbors to come there. At times we walk around. We give the flyers.
Okay.
Come and have a taste of our services, a taste of our food, you know. You do all that. Yes. And I usually say, for a business person, you don't enclose yourself. Where you are, take advantage.
True.
Socialize, mingle.
Talk to
Through
people.
that, talk to people. I usually say, anyone you see, that's a potential client.
True.
Yeah, get to talk to them. If there's that opportunity that you are able to market your product, do it.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, how do you expand the restaurant business into other businesses that are related? You know, because you've mentioned that you started with supplying to people, and then it's transcended into now serving people and having a restaurant, and now into supplying other restaurants.
Yes.
So now, how do you expand like that?
I will tell you for sure, my expansion is not my own doing, is not my own planning, but it has actually expanded because of the demand. You see, people would come, they would ask you for different different services. Some you could do, and some you're just like, okay, maybe with time.
Yeah.
But you know, when they become more frequent, you give it a try, so long as it's related to what you do. Like, for example, restaurants, I never used to sell drinks because I was just focusing on food.
The food. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, when clients come, they ask for drinks, soft drinks. Some will ask for alcohol. Some will ask for energy drinks. So you see, it just comes.
Yeah.
It just comes. Even supplying other restaurants wasn't our plan, but the entrepreneurs of those restaurants would come.
Yeah.
Can you supply us fish? Can you give us good prices? You know, such things.
Exactly.
So we just found ourselves doing because of the demand.
Okay, so now let's talk about your events catering side of business.
Yes.
How did that, you know, come to being?
There was this time from the unknown, like I was telling you, one of the contacts from one of the WhatsApp groups, he just called me and he told me, you know, we were once there and we loved everything.
Yeah.
But we are asking, can you move your restaurant, like your services, to any day that you needed? If we needed the exact thing, but now us, we can't come, but can you come with everything that you need? You see, it was a challenge because it's something that I've never done. Yes. But sitting down, having the meeting with your staff, and you're like, this is so doable.
Yeah.
So we gave it a try. We went there with everything, and we did a marvelous job. And believe me, from there, you know, it kept growing. Orders kept coming from the same event, and also, you know, just by word of mouth.
Yeah.
I've ever attended this, and the traditional foods were just awesome.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up doing it. So now we are even marketing that wing, because we've seen now we can actually perfect on it.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges that come with event organizing and having to move from your physical location to a brand new place that you had no idea? Or do you scout the place first and then you go to a second time? What exactly happens?
That must be done. Whenever you get such requests, you have to visit the site and get to know exactly where you're going to work from, how is the setup, how they're planning, where they're planning to eat, you know, such things.
Yes.
So you have to do that study. Yeah, so the next day, or rather that day that you've agreed to actually carry out the operation, you already familiarize yourself with whatever that is going on. Somebody wouldn't even realize that you've been outsourced, that you're actually part of. Exactly, because you know where things are,
how
you
things
know,
are flowing.
how you're supposed to be moving around that place.
So what are some of the challenges that come, you know, with such a scenario?
From the beginning, yes, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's overwhelming.
Exactly. More so dealing with the unknown. You don't know the kind of person you're dealing with.
True.
You still don't know what are his likes on the specific product that you're selling. So you have that rough time dealing with him, you know, salty food. Oh, how do you want it? Oh, we don't want overcooked food. You know, such things. At the same time, actually getting to move your things, you know. Like, for example, fish itself, you just know fish. You can just picture how
delicate.
In its raw form,
it's
delicate, and it's also very you really know how to handle it. You need to know how to handle it for it to get there when it's still
fresh,
at its fresh state. You are also worried, like, maybe if you're not sure, you're worried, are they going to like it, or is there anything that went wrong? And you just know insects with fish. You have to make sure that nothing touches the fish. There's usually
a lot of challenges.
Yes, it's usually a lot. Yes, and also dealing with the staff, working in a new environment. Maybe somebody is not giving you exactly what you want, what you're expecting. Like, you need a lot of water. They ration their water. You know, so you need to use what is available for you.
To make it work.
Yeah, to make it work. You feel like, will it be perfect with, you know, the limited
resources around you?
Exactly. But somehow you just have to do it. You just have to do your thing and make sure that you'll be happy by the end of it, and your client will also be happy as well.
Exactly. So as a woman in business now, especially now being in charge of a restaurant, has that affected your interaction with the staff? Especially coming from maybe male staff who feel like, I cannot have a female boss. Have you had such interactions?
Not really, because I usually employ the young ones, like those fresh from colleges, the guys from Italy, you know, they coming, you know, to try out, like doing it practically. This is what I studied. I mean, can I actually do it practically and not in theory? I have those guys. So I usually prefer, you know, employing the starters. Exactly. So I've not really had a challenge with, you know, senior staff or maybe male staff feeling that I'm a woman, you know, commanding him around. That much I've not really encountered, I'll be very honest.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you now manage the budget? Because a huge part of having a business and maintaining a business is being able to handle money very effectively. So how do you do that? Do you have an accountant? Do you outsource that? or do you go to the school of YouTube and learn how to balance the books? So how exactly do you do that?
Well, I think what I also studied has kind of really helped me in the application.
Yeah.
Because I did economics and statistics.
Yeah.
So I really know how to do the balancing.
Yes.
But again, you really don't need to do that to be able to know how to manage your finances.
True.
But one thing that I will tell you for free, there are so many things that are cut off when I was starting the business. One is that life, that happy life.
Yes, the partying.
Yeah, the partying, you know, because I realized if you're that kind of a person, you'll end up not having stock at some point.
Yeah.
You've eaten it all. You'll end up not rather paying the salaries on time, because you actually need to get yourself together to be able to pay salaries, and you know that kind of affects your relationship with your staff.
True.
Because you need to have a specific time, like if it's end month, it's what date. They also work towards this. They know by second, maybe somebody's paying her rent by that second. Then you want to pay her by 6th. Surely you're frustrating that person.
True.
So you actually need to get yourself together. You have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
That's the word. You have to be disciplined. Anytime you sell, put it aside. If you're paying rent, make sure you raise your rent before you go spend.
True.
Make sure you have the stock, because stock out cost is usually very expensive. You can imagine somebody walking in and you're telling him that you don't have that stock, or it got finished yesterday. He would wonder, then why are you in business?
Exactly.
All right, so it's usually very costly. Make sure you have your stock always. Whenever you have that sort of an organization, I don't think you'll also find it very easy to do your business.
So it's all about having discipline in handling your finances.
Exactly.
Discipline.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Our last question: what are the lessons that you've learned as Roslyn from the time of inception for your business and right now?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Back then, I think I was very naive. I didn't know what business was about. Back then, I wasn't dealing directly with people. But you see, when it comes to such business, there's that one-on-one contact.
Yeah.
You have to deal directly with people. Let them know who is doing this.
Yeah.
At least for a small business, make sure
your face is out there. Exactly.
That customer. Yeah, so by so doing, you face a lot of challenges. He may not like you. You just have to try hard and know how to deal with different people. Somebody may come in, akona zake, probably was already annoyed somewhere, so he's now an angry person. You want that person to calm down, okay? It's a lot of challenges. Yeah, and I think I've grown from that naive girl to a very mature person that you can not only address things affecting the restaurant, things affecting the business, but actually widely. Yeah, like you, exactly. You can even advise guys who are more mature than you, or other guys who are older than you. Exactly, because you've dealt with people, you've dealt with staff that is human resource now. Yeah. So you've dealt with a lot of areas, you as a person. Yes. So I think I'm very strong.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm very strong emotionally.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming to see us. Thank you for gracing us with your wisdom. We have learned a lot from you. So if you could tell the audience where to reach you, your business, your contact and everything, this is your camera.
My restaurant is called The Fisherman's Lounge. We are based in Kitengela, along Namanga Road, a place called Muigai Estate. It's 10 meters from the tarmac. On your left, Fisherman's Lounge is all about fish. And if you want us to come to where you are, we'll be so there with our perfect services. Fisherman's Lounge, that is the where. That is the place where fish is correct.
Exactly. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Roslyn giving us a lot of advice about the restaurant business, the things you should do, the things you should not do. And I hope we have inspired you to start on whatever dream you have, to take the opportunity that is around you, to find the gap in the market and make use of it. I hope we've inspired you. My name is Turife, and I'll see you next week.